What's going on, gamblers, degens, and everybody else in between? This is the Gamblers Anonymous Podcast, GAP, GAP for short, because we're closing the gap between you and the bookies. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. It is May the 4th, may the bets be with us. I'm your host for this episode, JG. It is roughly 4:20, just blaze it. And let's get into last week's recap. And I. What did we do wrong? Well, we started off with the Hurricanes versus the Islanders. I had the Hurricanes money line. I had the sweep. It went to overtime, but the Islanders snuck a win. They snuck it out. What are you gonna do? That was a loss for us. Lock number 2 I had Sergei Bobrovsky over 25.5 saves minus 130. And you know, Bobby came through. It's Bobby, bitch. Yes, and they're off to the next round to probably face either Toronto or Boston. We'll find that out tonight. But and the final lock I had for you guys, Jonathan Marchessault. He had 12 games straight of a point streak. We had him over 0.5 points at minus 130. And what happened? What went wrong? He shit the bed for us. I don't know. We tried to ride the streak, but we rode it into the ground, I guess, and that didn't come in. So we went 1-2 on our locks last week. No bueno, no siree. That was not good. And then our to the mood, we had Florida under 2.5 goals against Tampa. They had 3 goals. It was looking good after the first. Vazzy looked unreal, but then he just gave up 3 in the second. Tampa ended up taking that game. They made it 4-1 to the series, but they headed home. Florida looks really good too. Then I had Boston, Toronto to go to overtime plus 300. No, sir, they didn't go to overtime. Yeah, what are you going to say? Boston took that game. But now, game 7 tonight, we're going to find out. We'll go OT, maybe. But then I did have Dallas and Vegas to go to overtime plus 300, and that one came in. So unfortunately, we couldn't hit the rest, but hey, episode 73, we're back at it. We're back at it for this week, and let's get started. I gave you Carolina Hurricanes last week. Now they're at the Rangers, second series, the quarterfinals. And we got the kid from the Peg, Seth Jarvis, to record over 1.5 shots minus 200. I know it might not be a big payout, but it's going to be a payout nonetheless. My boy Jarvis is honestly a dog when it comes to playoff hockey. He is built for the playoffs, and that's because he's from Winnipeg. A Winnipeg boy. Gritty hockey we play here. His first run in the playoffs, we took note he averaged over 2 shots a game in that 14-run series as a rookie he had. Next, he had his sophomore slump, and guess what? Last year, he still put up just under 2.5 shots in 15 playoff games. And now this year, again, he is averaging over 2 shots a game in the playoffs, and he's been lighting it up with 7 points in 5 games. Not to mention, when he plays the Rangers, let's just take a look at his history really quick. In 8 of 11 games against the Rangers, he has hit 8 of those 11 games, shooting more than 1.5 shots on net. And when he's at MSG, Madison Square Garden, where this game will be played, he has hit it 5 of 6 times, and he averages just under 3.5 shots in those matches. And in all matches played, he averages over 2.5 shots. So let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, and let's take Seth Jarvis over 1.5 shots minus 200. Yes. Now, lock number 2, Vegas at Dallas, game 7. And we got Joe Pavelski under 0.5 points minus 125. Now, I know you might hear this and think I'm crazy to bet on Joe Pavelski under 0.5 points. Captain America, Captain Clutch as they call him. But let me tell you, Captain nowhere to be found, because I found his kryptonite, and it's the Golden Knights. Let me tell you what he's done in his last 5 series plus this one, when he's played against the Golden Knights. In 2018, when he was with the Sharks, 1 goal, 2 assists, and a -5 in that series, with 0 points and a -2 in Game 6 when they got eliminated. So nowhere to be found in those 6 games. In 2019, again with the Sharks, 2 goals, 2 assists, and -3 in 7 games, with 0 points in Game 7 and a ±0. So hey, no good, no bad. In 2020, now he's with the Stars. He put up 1 goal, 1 assist in 5 games played, and finally, he finished with a ± of +1. But in that elimination game, 0 goals, 0 assists, and a 0 ±, so nowhere to be found. And last year, in 2013, they played 6 games against each other. He put up 1 goal, 3 assists, and a -2. And in that elimination game, he ended with 0 points and -2. He's a liability in these elimination games against the Golden Knights. Now this year, when he's played the Golden Knights, you know what he's done? 0. A goosey. He has 0 points, 0 goals, 0 assists in 6 games, but he does have a -2. He's been on the ice for at least -2 times against the Golden Knights. So let's look at the grand total. 30 matches played, 5 goals, 8 assists for a total of 13 points in 30 games. That's not Captain Clutch to me. But now we look at the ± in those 30 games, -11. -11, you heard right. The double breadstick. And in the four prior elimination games, he has 0 goals, 0 assists for a total of 0 points, but he does have a -2 in elimination games against the Golden Knights. So maybe against other teams he's that guy. Maybe Father Time has just caught up to him. But either way, Joe Pavelski under 0.5 points, -125. And now lock number 3, we're leaving the NHL playoffs and we're going to the ATP Madrid Final. Felix Auger-aliassime versus Andrei Rublev. And I have Felix Auger-aliassime over 3.5 double faults +100. We're just going to keep this one as simple as possible here. We're looking at the history between these two, the head-to-head statistics, and that's why we're taking the over on the double faults for Felix. 5 matches played between the two, and in each match played, Felix has exceeded the total of 3.5. First match back in 2018, he had 8 double faults. In 2020, he had 5. In 2022, they met twice, where again he had 5, and the second time they met, they had 4. And the last match they played just a few months ago, back in February, he had 5 once more. So as we can easily see, he's hit the over of 3.5 in each of those 5 matches. 5 for 5, he's hitting 100. But now I'm going to go into an even greater deep dive for you on why this is going to hit. In the 5 matches played, there have been a total of 158 games in those matches. So divide that by 5, and that gives us an average of 31.6 games expected to be played this match. Felix in the past year on clay courts has been hitting double faults at a rate of 0.36 times a game. So multiply that 31.6 and you get 11.376. Now we got to divide it by 2 because he serves half of those matches, and that comes to 5.688 projected double faults for Felix, and we're getting -3.5 at +100. All the boxes are checked off here, and all we gotta do is bet it. Felix Auger-aliassime over 3.5 double faults +100. There we go. Now we're going to the moon And we're going to get our To the Vengeance, baby. First, we got Seth Jarvis to record 3 or more shots plus 155. I already told you what he does in Madison Square Garden. He averages 3.5 shots a game. He's hit this total, I think, 3 of 5 playoff games this year already. And now we go to the next one. Vegas versus Dallas to go to overtime plus 300. All these games have been 1-goal games, maybe 2-goal games with an empty net. One of them went to overtime. I told you last time, 3 of 6 went to overtime in the regular season. And guess what? It's 3 of 6 last year, and only 1 of 6 I've hit so far. So I see this one going to overtime as well at plus 300. We can't discredit that. And then I have Andrei Rublev match result and over 22.5 games plus 175. Every single time in those 5 matches they've played, the over 22.5 games have hit. Andre has won 4 of the 5, and he has been on a heater this ATP Madrid run. He took down Carlos Alcaraz. He took down other great players. I forget their names. But Felix has had a walkthrough. Yannick Sinner retired. What's his name? Another guy retired. He hasn't really had the competition. And if you beat Alcaraz, you know what I think of that genetically modified organism they call Alcaraz. He's a beast. I think he's the best. Yannick Sinner, he's pretty good. He can take him down too. He's getting up there, but never mind. I'm getting lost. Andrei Rublev and over 22.5 games plus 175. And when you put that all together, that comes to plus 2,705. You throw 30 on it, that equals $841.50. Now, isn't that sweet? Well, that's it for this episode. Gamble at your own risk. Be safe. Be happy. Gamble freely. And gamble, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But I will be coming back with NHL Day 2 and Day 3 this week once these games get scheduled. So till then, gamble at your own risk and peace!